Dana got too busy and
was it me that got too busy?
Obviously.
Was it me that got too busy?
it might have been a touch of me.
You don't want to know how many times he's rescheduled this one.
This has been rescheduled a lot.
Yeah. The first couple of times I think were my fault, but
no.
Potentially.
So first it was supposed to be Friday, and then it was supposed to be Saturday, and then it was supposed to be Monday, and then it was supposed to be Thursday. Then it was supposed to be Tuesday, and then Thursday, and now Friday.
Yeah, we did a lot.
The only day we didn't do was Wednesday, I guess. Because even Sunday, I think we didn't. Maybe not try. Maybe not.
Wednesday never works.
Okay, yeah. So Wednesday was the only day we didn't even try. We didn't even bother.
But we did it.
But we did it. Yes.
We did it.
We had to run a separate episode. We ran our backup episode.
Well, it's our greatest episode. With Tanner.
I told Tanner to tell all his friends. No one has checked it out.
Oh my god.
Or no one of Tanner's friends. I don't even think Tanner's listened to it yet.
Did we get a picture of Tanner's friend?
No.
Oh.
Does that mean you need to?
You don't post anything on the Instagram.
I do post. I post every single
have
time.
Instagram?
Yeah.
What's the Instagram?
At Experience Podcast.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
On Instagram.
Well, while he's doing that, we'll go to the thing. Welcome to the Experience Podcast with me and someone else.
And someone else.
Hey, I'm Quinn.
He was the first one to do it right.
He was the first one to do it
Every
right.
single time someone says, and someone else.
And then there's no one else.
And there's no one else there.
Yeah.
You're the first person ever. Congratulations.
And somebody else.
Oh.
Did I ruin it?
Anyway, this we've gone through a lot of transformations recently.
Mm-hmm.
The podcast I did some mass. What's the word? Distribution.
Mass distribution.
We're available on Castbox, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor, and YouTube technically.
And veganpodcast.org.
The what?
Vegan Podcast.
Vegan Podcast.
Because we're now officially kosher.
We are.
So.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we're available on any of this. You can download the episode from any of those spots. You can find all the links on the YouTube feed, or I think it's on the Instagram description. I think I just slid them in there. Mm-hmm. And on the Anchor feed. So you followed us on Instagram.
I couldn't find it.
Could not find it. It's
gosh.
at Experience Podcast.
Experience Podcast, not
Very
the
specific.
Experience
No.
Podcast.
Not the experience.
Well, it's not available.
The extra letters, they said that was too much.
Oh. I don't know how to spell.
Do you like the logo?
I do like the logo.
That was designed all by our official logo chair.
Actually, also something that's not related to this.
Okay.
We do have someone who might be interested in being our editor.
Actually?
Yes.
Like,
now,
I don't. Tanner?
Huh?
audio editing?
Yes. Now, I don't want to say who it is yet because I don't want to be any big reveals here.
Okay.
But his name rhymes with Leader Illy.
Really?
Yes.
So Leader Illy
Leader Illy
of the
And-
Congoleng tribe
Yes.
would like to edit
He's
our
somewhat
podcast.
interested, perhaps later on, in maybe in a few months, in like the summer or something,
Okay.
to play around with it, and this would give him some hands-on. He's thinking about like some other. I think maybe listen to the episode with Peter on. No relation.
Not Leader Illy.
Not Leader Illy.
Nothing similar.
Who talks about how he's kind of interested in an internship that has to do with audio editing for something for some.
So we are
studio.
officially now a company. He is interning for us.
He wants to intern for us, and now never mind that he's actually, and this also ties in.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually a sponsor for the podcast. You can sponsor yourself. You can go to anchor.fm/the experience.
So is it like a sponsorship, or am I buying stock? Do you guys have stock? Do you trade
Well, you're just
stock?
like a supporter.
Well,
right
it's
now.
kind of stock.
Okay.
It's sort of like a pyramid scheme where, like, if someone wants their money back, we just take the money from someone else and pass it
Yeah.
on. So, but we can say it's stock.
You can support right through the Anchor feeds. You can support as low as 99 cents a month, which is nothing.
Well, technically,
It's just something. It's about 25 cents an episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quarter, which Connor gives out regularly on.
I do.
Styles. Yeah. So Peter and Leader
Illy.
are both supporters of the podcast for 99 cents a month, and yet Leader Illy wants to work for the podcast. So Leader Illy is essentially paying to work for the podcast.
Cool.
That is our scheme.
Yeah.
If anyone else would like to work for the podcast, you could support the podcast first, and then we'll reach out to you.
Yes, you have to. You have to pay the application fee of
Yes.
at least 99 cents a month.
Yes.
So the Experience podcast is fully employee owned, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Wow.
What's the word? We're entrepreneurs.
We're entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's a family business.
It is. In that, a family of just Connor and a family of just me.
It's two families.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think.
But we both have families, and that's why it's a
The
family
word
business.
family is plural.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
this is our guest. Our guest, Quinn,
Mm-hmm.
I'm Quinn.
and he is a...
You can give his background.
You can give your background.
Well, I'm a third-ish year civil engineering student, if you cared, at Georgia Tech. It's probably not what you care about, though. Former audio experience, I have created 5 or 6 songs using GarageBand. They're all less than a minute long, so if you're interested in looping them, you can do that. They're not on they're not on SoundCloud, so you have to find them. I have a YouTube channel. I stream on Twitch every now and then. And I'm a DJ at WREK Atlanta, and that's pretty cool. It's not a podcast, but I play music.
Mm-hmm. And you're familiar with Tanner Debates.
Tanner Debates.
Who's Tanner Debates?
Oh,
He's just
my
some
gosh.
dummy operator.
Yeah. He's a dummy.
In that he is the dummy operator.
No.
You don't know Tanner?
I don't
He
know
just
Tanner.
applied this semester.
Oh.
No, I think it was
so-
last semester. Was it
No,
this
it wasn't. He didn't do anything last semester.
Oh, well.
He said he was going to.
Oh, okay. He was talking it up a
He
lot.
was talking it up.
Every week he's like, I'm definitely doing this.
Mm.
Okay, you don't know him? Interesting.
No, I don't. I haven't been around much this semester. I missed the sign-up meeting to get a shift, so now if I want to, I have to go in at like 1 in the morning. And I've done that before, and it's really fun, but it's not ideal.
Not ideal.
So,
You couldn't be a dummy operator?
I mean, I could be,
Because they let
but
any dummy do it nowadays.
yeah,
I feel like.
I already know what I'm doing though, and I don't want to like waste people's time. It's hard. It's really easy, but it's really hard.
Have you ever played your songs on WREK? Your 1 minute?
Or do commercial
Loops.
breaks not like that? Like the sponsors.
Yeah.
Or like you can't do a 30-second thing.
No, I've never played any of my own work because it's all on my sister's computer. It was like
Interesting.
middle school era, and I didn't have my own computer, and the iTunes libraries didn't quite sync properly, so I don't have access to them right now. But they're there, and I haven't played them. But what I have played is I played a 3-minute long track of somebody that sounded like they were constipated. That was really fun.
Inspirational.
Now Connor actually has experience in this.
In the constipation?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I have been actually constipated before for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So beat that one a little bit.
Have you considered sampling your constipation
You could
noises
probably
and
go to
putting them out
the
as an
station.
album?
Yeah.
Would that be in desire? Because since there's already a recording of one, I don't know if I could do better than that because I feel like it's already very professional.
But you could give it to them and then make them be a supporter of this podcast. For
Oh, it could be like a
Right.
trade.
Yeah.
Like all my exclusive constipation track
Uh-huh.
for 99 cents a month.
Uh-huh.
It could be like I could lease it to you.
I'm sure we could find a space for it. I don't have that kind of authority, but I'll talk to him. I'll talk to a music director.
We could record the thing after this.
Oh, should we put a thing for this?
After this, remember? The
Okay.
sponsor thing.
We have to record the sponsor
Yeah.
for this. We have to
For
record
this.
the sponsorship for this.
I
After
don't know if
this.
it'll go for this episode. It might just roll out in the beginning of this episode. I don't know how it's going to
That
work
would
yet.
be weird.
To have a sponsor that we recorded for
Like
this
to
episode.
say you were going to record a sponsor, but then it came before.
It came before. We play with time on this podcast quite frequently.
It's a bit meta.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, now that it's Tuesday, March...
31st.
No, that's not...
30
a thing.
seconds.
It is the Ides of March, which gets a little scary for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
V for Vendetta predicted it.
Predicted what?
Well, not predicted, but... You seen the movie?
No. Is that the one with like the mask thing?
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't really do scary movies.
It's not really a scary movie. It's like a
No.
political drama.
Mm.
Political and
watch
like a neo-noir political.
No.
It's like a neo-noir, not like a
Okay.
horror movie.
I mean, really kind of anything that's darker than like Doc McStuffins I have trouble stomaching.
I mean,
so,
it's dark in that it's hard to see because it's very like shot dark.
Okay.
But I guess the themes are dark in a way, but again, there's no like.
Okay.
It's not a monster.
Nobody's like dying.
There's no death.
There's like torture.
I mean, technically,
like it's the stuff that's like someone's getting stabbed,
Okay.
whether it's jump scare.
Again, it's like a neo-noir political drama kind of thing. It's not
I'll put it on the list.
Well, okay.
Let the record show that I'm grabbing my phone and putting it on a physical list.
Anyway, now that we're on the, we are a hands-free podcast. I
We are
should
a
mention that.
hands-free podcast,
So bridges.
talk about them.
Top 10 bridges. Go.
Well, what's your third first? Start with your third favorite, and then go through 1, 2, 4, 5. 6.
Okay, so my third favorite bridge is there's a cross-country course at a church that the region meet was at. I don't know if I'm allowed to say locations or if that's called doxing, but it's only my third favorite bridge because it's really pretty and it looks over a nice lake, but your shoes get stuck in it when you run in the cross-country race, and that's what drops it down from number 1.
That's true.
My second favorite bridge is probably the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's a little cliche, isn't it?
I know, it's a little cliche, and the reason it's not number 1 is because I had an opportunity to do a class project where we like modeled it in drawing software, and I realized that it was not my favorite bridge after modeling it and trying to do
Was that more about the bridge or just the tediousness of the project?
It was both, kind of like realizing the tediousness it took in like modeling the bridge. It's like there's so much cool things they could have done that they didn't, that would have made...
but also you could see the intricacies of it.
Yeah, but when you're copy and pasting a whole bunch of stuff, it's
Is
like...
that what civil engineering is?
No.
Copy and pasting?
There's the roads and...
A lot of it is like, I made this one part, and now I need 100 of that part, so I'm going to copy and paste it 100 times. Or I'm going to figure out a way to do it without copy and paste. And that brings us to my number 1 bridge. Is that what we're on? My number 1 bridge is the what's it called? It's a really cool bridge. I don't know the name of it. This is really embarrassing.
Number 1 bridge, huh?
Yeah, like I can see it.
You can see the
but-
bridge.
Go ahead and describe
And
it.
I should draw it for you guys, but
Go
I
ahead
guess I
and
can take it. So,
Describe it for the listener.
Because we know our bridges. I think we can figure out the name from...
okay.
Go ahead.
So,
Okay.
I think it's one of the bridges that goes over the Ohio River, and it's what I assume is probably stainless steel or some sort of metal. It's not a concrete bridge, and it is not the bridge that you drive on. It's a bridge that's to the side that used to be driven on, or is like a railroad bridge, and it's kind of like a truss bridge. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's got like two separate trusses, and it looks like there used to be a thing that like you could turn the trains on, but maybe I just can't see it very well because I'm always driving across it. But it's that bridge that it's my favorite bridge because I always drive on the one bridge, and then you see that other bridge and you're like, that would have been a cool bridge to drive on.
Yeah.
And the bridge over the James River. That one's really cool too. That one's in Virginia. There are rocks and you can like jump on the rocks next to the bridge.
What, in your car? Like a little
No,
bit off-roading? Or?
on a pogo stick.
Oh.
But it's still pretty cool.
There you go, the bridge segment.
I like the Tacoma Valley while it lasted. That was pretty cool.
It's sad that it fell.
Yeah, it was. It kind of was boring to follow.
We didn't need to drag down the podcast like that. I mean, come on.
It was kind of cool. It was like really wavy during the last few seconds.
Is that a good thing?
No, I don't think it was meant to do that. But if it were, that'd be a really cool bridge. So if it wouldn't have broken and just kept waving like that, because no other bridge does
like
that.
a roller coaster.
Yeah, and that's why it's cool.
Yeah.
So I have someone, I won't mention the name,
Okay.
but it rhymes with Clowen, who designed a bridge, essentially, that it's like an origami bridge. It's a bridge out of origami. So they're using origami. And it's like a drawbridge, but with origami. So instead of going up and toward the sides, it folds back.
Oh, like
Ooh.
So you get
telescoping almost. But
Yes.
with paper.
So it folds.
And
Yeah, it folds the back,
Okay.
and so like you don't have to worry about the height problem, right? Because a normal bridge it stops like whatever angle, I don't know, 45 degrees
Yeah.
or something like that, and so you can't put certain chips through. But this bridge folds in, so you don't have to worry about that. And you could even save on materials. I don't know if you did the costing, but
Yeah.
it's a different design.
That'd
So
be really cool.
it's origami engineering.
Yeah, and so instead of vertical space, you need space in the horizontal direction, like underneath the bridge.
I don't know.
Almost.
I'm not
Yeah.
a bridge
Well, I mean,
enthusiast, but
it has to go somewhere.
Theoretically, bridge
well,
needs
so
space.
yeah, so it folds back. That's how origami, and so it kind of
So like it's like a bunch of like reversed
like
hinges.
grooves.
So, like,
Yeah, like think of like
yeah, so like fan folds.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be really cool.
That's a smart one.
yeah.
Did you give him a cookie for that one?
Did not give him a cookie. There was already free food at the event,
Dang.
so they're free sandwiches. Did you go to the free ice cream?
Oh, in Ford?
Yeah.
No.
No, it was free ice cream.
Did you go?
Yeah, it
Was it good ice cream?
was good ice cream.
What kind of ice cream was it?
It was just like Publix brand ice cream.
Did you?
Like vanilla, chocolate.
Vanilla. They had vanilla, chocolate, mint chocolate chip,
Oh.
party mix.
What's-
Oh, I
what's
missed party mix.
I don't know what that is. It was like a chocolate ribbon, with, like vanilla with chocolate ribbon essentially, and then something else that was similar to party mix, but was also kind of the same vein with chocolate with some I don't know.
So, vanilla, strawberry.
No,
mint
there's no
chocolate.
strawberry.
Vanilla,
Chocolate.
mint
Caramel.
chocolate chip,
Chocolate.
and a bunch of different chocolates.
No. The other
No.
ones were vanilla with like chocolate
Oh.
ribbons.
Oh,
You know,
so
like
it wasn't
they do
chocolate
the-
with vanilla ribbon.
No, it's vanilla with the chocolate
Okay.
ribbon.
It was still chocolate.
There's chocolate in there, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had like Oreos and something else. The problem is, and maybe I shouldn't badmouth them on the podcast.
Of course.
They're on this table, about the size of this table. So how big would you say this?
This
table
is about
Wow.
4 feet.
4 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
4x2.
Okay, maybe it was like a 5 foot long table. But they have all this ice cream. That's like 5. How many did they say? 5? That's
Yes.
5 large jugs of ice cream, like gallon size ice creams, spoons, bowls. There's cookies and other things there, all on this one little table. And there's like 10 people trying to crowd around it. But half those people are people that are organizing it, and they're just standing in front of the table, so you can't get to the ice cream. Like I'm standing there for like a few minutes, just like trying to reach in to get some ice cream. It was
Not ideal.
not the best.
the
Yeah, I
most
don't know what they were doing. Like stand literally anywhere else.
Did you tell them that?
No, because by then I had enough ice cream and I was done. And I just left.
Now, what do you think the statistical probability is that I can go back and still get ice cream?
They said at one. I think it was 12:30 to 1:30. Was it?
So 0.
When am I going to be done with this?
It might be 1:50 now.
It's almost 2 right now. Let's see. I'm gonna pull it up while Quinn talks about.
Oh, bridges. One of the
bridges.
coolest things I've done with bridges is before I came here, the summer before I came to school, I decided I want to build a bridge. And I decided that I wanted to build a popsicle stick bridge.
You didn't mean like a real
No.
bridge.
Oh, you didn't build a real
I
bridge.
wasn't there yet.
Okay.
But also like the popsicle stick was kind of a big part of why I wanted to build a bridge. And I decided that I was only going to use popsicle sticks from popsicle sticks that I had eaten in my popsicle stick bridge.
Now this is dangerous because if you're watching your sugar,
It's a bit.
mm-hmm,
There's the diabetes.
You're
ability.
incentivizing yourself to. Eat
I
the
ate about a
popsicle.
box of popsicles a day for like 2 weeks.
And
And
again-
it was awesome.
Is it?
I'm thinking based on
It's good for that 2 weeks.
for the rest of your life.
I did have headaches for a little bit afterwards, which I calmed with Mountain Dew. But I ate a lot of
Okay,
popsicles.
so you calm the
Added-
sugar headaches with more sugar.
No.
That's
with,
exactly what you
with
just said.
Mountain Dew.
That's sugar. That's all sugar.
Well, it's high fructose
That's
corn
water
syrup.
with sugar.
No, that's Kool-Aid,
Oh, that is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
which is basically just a melted popsicle.
Which okay, I see. We brought it back. Okay, so the popsicles.
Yeah. It was a lot smaller than I was hoping it to be. Apparently, you need a lot of popsicle sticks for a popsicle stick bridge. And the 150 or so popsicles that I ate was not enough.
Why don't you ask your friends to help you out? You have 10 friends.
It's not the same. It was personal achievement. Also, none of my friends were willing to eat that many popsicle sticks. It was kind of disappointing. It's like, do you guys not have fun just sitting in a basement consuming popsicle sticks continually?
Yeah.
Like, what else is there to do with life? But
Nothing to say there. Yeah.
That's a very true statement.
yeah, I was hoping to have like a 4-foot long suspension bridge of some sort, maybe some trusses, but it turned out to be like 2 feet long.
That's still
Trusses?
significant.
Yeah, it was. Instead of, because it was so short, I decided it wasn't really going to work out to try and do a suspension bridge. So I made trusses, and then the supports were semi-trussed. It turned out pretty well. It held up pretty strong. I was able to use it to support cookies.
Do you still have it?
No. Do you still have the cookies?
That's kind of the problem. I put too many cookies on, and it broke.
Ooh.
But it held a lot of cookies. It was just the 3rd dozen that
You got
it couldn't
ambitious.
handle. Yeah.
See, when I was it was my junior year of high school.
So,
and we had
yesterday.
So yes, well, it was 2 days ago.
Okay.
And we had to build a bridge. And so I was thinking, me and my, extremely creative, intelligence, I went, instead of putting the trusses like this, on the side of it.
Yeah, describe what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Instead of putting the trusses vertically on each side of the floor.
What's the bottom?
What's the bottom part called?
I mean, if it's a road bridge, it's called the road.
Okay. Of the road.
Well, it's not a road.
The path. I guess it would be the base.
Base.
Okay, base. That's a
On
good
each side of
word.
the base.
Of the base. Yeah.
I was thinking, what if we turned them in like this?
Ooh.
So that way,
What does that
the
even
force,
mean?
Well, at a like 45-degree angle, so that the top of the trusses were touching each other, and that way,
You were Eiffel
Triangle.
Towering it.
I was Eiffel Towering it, but did not work at all. It actually probably made it
What
worse.
was the advantage of this 45
The
degree
advantage
tilt
was that it was different
than other people?
than other people. The disadvantage was that
It doesn't work.
it had much less structural integrity since the force was applied at an angle to
Well,
things.
theoretically, if you had your trusses at 45-degree angles, you could use the same truss for both vertical support and lateral support. So you could keep the bridge standing up, but you could also keep the bridge from swaying. But it didn't work because sometimes you need all of the truss to support the bridge vertically, and then you need extra trusses to support it laterally. Sometimes.
And that's why I learned about it breaking down for like 20 pounds. So
Well, at least you learned. It was a
Well, at
learning
least I learned.
experience.
What did the best bridge in that class, how much poundage did it?
it was a high amount. I want to say it was over 100. So it was a big boy.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, it was someone rhymes with Laundry Merch.
Would it also rhyme with Slodry Thurch?
It would
That's how
also.
rhymes
okay.
work. Yes.
Okay,
Would
I
also-
think we're good.
Okay,
That's
we're
how
talking
rhymes
about the
work.
same person.
I think we're good.
So how often do you use the word bridge in your natural vocabulary?
Not very often. Surprising, which I don't know if
You
you
never
guys
use it
knew
in a
this.
metaphorical sense?
I rarely say under the bridge. I usually say I'm over it. I rarely say build a bridge and get over it. I usually say you're dumb, just figure it out.
You ever use it as a verb?
Bridge the gap.
Yeah, bridge the gap.
I don't really say bridge the gap. Maybe I should use that one.
See, I use bridge in a lot of my like just to bridge two conversations together. When I'm talking about
There you
like
go.
bridge to Terabithia or the ridge with a B of something. Usually, if I just see a ridge, I just like saying bridge, so I just say bridge minus B, just to add more bridge to my
That's how
conversation.
the math works.
So, what about you?
No,
lot of bridges?
don't really talk about bridges. I want to.
Yeah,
I'm always looking for a way to slide bridges into the conversation. But it's tough.
it is tough.
A lot of people just don't want to hear about it.
I think you're just talking to the wrong people.
Maybe. I'm talking to civil engineers.
Wow. Well,
It doesn't really work, does it?
yeah.
I had something else about bridges. I forgot what it was. Bridge.
They're so cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Connor?
I mean, they're all right. They've got a lot of benefit to them. Because if let's say you wanted to cross a cliff, right? Before bridges, you couldn't do it. You had to go down, throw down your rope, go all the way down, swim across the river.
Well, if you had a rope, why didn't you just make a zip line? That's kind of like a bridge.
Ooh, is a zip line a bridge? I don't want.
Does-
I don't. The
what
internet's
is
gonna
the
tear
technique?
us apart if we go into this conversation, but we'll do it. It's a controversial conversation, as you know. You've been in the. You're, as someone in the community, you
I am a
understand.
firm believer that a zip line is not a bridge. If
Wow.
only because
Wow, that's a hot take.
a bridge is one. It is a cohesive unit. You
Okay.
could go across the bridge. You can come back across the bridge. Sometimes you can't do it because it's a one-way bridge, but that's not because the bridge doesn't allow it. That's because society doesn't allow it. But theoretically, a bridge is one. It's supported on
It has
its
to
own.
be able to go
You can
both
go
ways.
back and forth. It's there. The thing with the zip line is you can't go both ways on a zip line.
What about the zip lines that goes one way and there's another side that goes the other way?
See, but then you have a system of zip lines, and it's not just one zip line. So maybe, that's where it gets
They're
tough.
connected. They're joined together. it's still a
Yeah.
system.
So if you have one back and forth, is it still the same zip line, or is it something entirely different? That's what keeps me.
Connor, you want to? I mean, a hot topic. So
This is a hot
I don't know if you want to dive into it.
It's a little scary.
It could sacrifice your political career.
It could.
This is-
The comment section is going to go nuts.
They're
when
gonna
we
go
talk
nuts.
about
We're gonna
it.
talk about
when
the
we talk
bridge.
about this. Yeah.
I think that the zip line does not qualify as a bridge. I'm going to go off of what my compadre Quinn said.
Expert.
Expert in the field. He's a third-year civil engineer.
Yes, he's an
at-
expert.
I feel like I should clarify this. I don't actually do anything with bridges in my civil engineering.
Okay. Well, that's neither here nor there.
I just wanted to throw
That's-
that out
that's
there.
water
that
under the bridge.
I haven't really
That's
talked
not
about
bad.
bridges
Sure.
since my first year of civil engineering, so I just wanted to make sure that was known.
What do you talk about?
What do I talk about?
Roads, roundabouts,
Maps.
roundabouts,
Sometimes.
intersections.
Pipelines?
Sometimes. I'm mostly into like databases kind of stuff.
Hydraulics.
So like, I did do that. I did a lab on that. Wasn't a huge fan. It was a lot of fun, but wasn't a huge fan. I'm more into like assigning value more than just geographic to locations on the Earth. So like, this is a point, and it's not just a latitude and longitude. That latitude and longitude has an address. It has an average temperature. It has a number of fire hydrants within that radius. That's kind of what I'm into. It's a sector called Geodetic and Geographic Information System, and so it's a lot of stuff like Google Maps and stuff like that, and that's what I'm interested in. But
So have you taken geomatics yet?
yes, it was a
I heard
great
it's
class.
supposed to be the easiest class you could take as a civil engineer.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty easy in that it's very easy to do well in the class, not necessarily to learn the material.
That's the class where you see the people like on Tech Green just standing around doing nothing.
Oh,
That's
and they're just
this
counting the
class.
cars.
But they're not, well, not counting.
No,
cars.
counting cars. They
They're
they
like-
use like the things.
The little thing that you look through
You
and
look
it measures
through-
distance.
You measure distance, which is
Oh,
the
the laser thing?
Seems like the most complicated, the convoluted way to measure the distance.
But it's the most accurate and the
I
most
know.
precise,
Still,
so it's necessary. Did you know that?
do you need all 20 of you outside standing there while it's a one-person job?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And that's why later in the semester you go out in groups of 3. But the first one you have to teach it because it's a pretty complex software, and there's a lot of like, you only do it this way because otherwise nobody's going to understand what your data says. It's a lot of like, make sure you do it right and not your way. But is a zipline a bridge?
I don't think so. I think a bridge has to be a elevated surface that you can go across without having a mechanism transport you.
So you can stop on the bridge.
You can stop on the bridge.
Oh, you're adding that caveat.
I'm
You have to be
I'm
able
putting the
to
bullet
stop
points,
on the bridge.
caveats here. You can stop on
With
the
the
bridge.
zip line, you got a velocity the whole way.
You're zooming on that thing.
Yeah. So roundabouts, why are they safer?
Why are roundabouts safer?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're more efficient because you can maintain momentum through the intersection. That's important. As far as safety goes, one of the big reasons they're safer is because if you're driving down the road and all of a sudden your like road turns and there's this big circle in the middle of the road,
You have to pay.
you have to slow down. Whereas it's very easy to just ignore a stop sign and just keep going straight because the road just keeps going straight. That's one reason why they're safer. It's just kind of like It's the same reason people will tell you that street parking is good and is safe in a neighborhood, and it's because it's a traffic
calming
mechanism. That's what roundabouts do in a similar way.
Roundabouts.
Interesting.
I've never heard that.
Is that like with the traffic circle, but there's a frown in the middle?
No,
Like
frown.
like you have like two trees and then like a bush kind of
Yeah,
mouth
there's a
frown.
little bit of negativity.
Yeah,
The
that's
roundabout?
what happens when you have a very traditional community who likes things to stay the same, but then you show them all this stuff. It's like, see, roundabouts are good, and then they say, "Well, you're right, but I'm not going to be happy about it."
Those are the frownabouts.
Those are the roundabouts. It doesn't happen very often
roundabouts.
because most of the time when people see a roundabout, they get on board.
Do they?
But
The communities are on board because I feel like the construction would take a while.
yeah,
Completely redo the intersection, and how do you handle diverting the traffic?
it's this great thing called, I think it's called like cognitive dissonance or something similar, where it's like, I want this, but I don't want to do what it takes to get there. You know, it's like, I want to play in the NBA, but I don't want to work out and run and shoot basketball for 10 hours a day. I just want to be in the NBA. You know?
Do you want to be in the
I think
NBA?
our motorcycle
No.
on the street agrees with that. Yeah, they're really going after it. Or maybe a car.
What do you think? Do you think it's a Harley?
Most of them up here are Harleys, aren't they?
Are they really?
On this street? Yeah.
This is a Harley lane? This
This is
doesn't
a-
seem like a very Harley space to be.
It's Harley Lane.
Harley lane.
You don't think it's a moped? You think it's a motorcycle? You don't think it's a Honda
Civic?
Ruckus?
Honda Ruckus. Those are nice. I like those
Those are
ones
really
because they're like this under the seat it's open
Yeah.
versus other ones where the seat is enclosed. The Honda Ruckus.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's like 50cc. You don't need insurance for it. It's kind of fun. It looks a little off-roady, a little sporty, a little rugged.
Uh-huh. Let me ask you another question about roads. What do you think, and this is an idea that is by, again, I don't name who it is,
Of course.
rhymes with Clowen.
Okay.
His idea is, in order to, so he's doing a project, let's say, and I won't discuss what it is, for safety reasons, about pedestrian deaths on the road.
Okay.
I don't know if it's intersections or just in general. I think it's specifically intersections. What about, like, you know how we have a hands-free Georgia law? Can't use your phone with your hands in the car, in the driver's seat.
Right.
What if that applied to pedestrians crossing the street?
I think that should really belong, like, I think what is classified as the road should be a road zone sort of thing, and that extends 10 feet out past the road. So if you're on the road or within 10 feet of the road, you should not be on your phone.
So even if
should
you're
be
walking down the
hands-free.
sidewalk?
If the sidewalk is closer than 10 feet.
No, the
then-
sidewalk that's right on the road.
Yeah, so
Okay,
like,
yeah.
but like maybe it's like a sidewalk
What if-
path.
okay,
that
but
goes
what
out.
about, like, your house is right there? You know, your house is on
Yeah.
the street. Then you get some ambiguity.
But I mean, like,
10 feet's a
10
feet's a
feet.
pretty big distance.
Okay,
Basically,
maybe-
that's that.
Maybe 5 feet, but like I feel like there should be a zone that extends past the road that you can't. be on.
Regardless, like you see a lot of people. I don't know that has specific numbers. People, they walk across the street. They're on their phone. They're not looking.
I don't like it. I think it's dumb.
You think you think a law should be enacted
Yes.
so pedestrians cannot use their phone in the same way that they can get a car, would get pulled over for using their phone or whatever.
Yes, I do.
Connor,
I've seen many a times
many a times.
walking, through tech, or little kids walking across the street right in front of a
Little
car.
kids?
Well, not little kids, but compared to like elderly people, students.
You're a
Young
little kid.
whippersnappers.
Well, the young whippersnappers, just walk across right. They're on their phone. They're playing Candy Crush Saga. Cars got to stop
Because it's 2008.
because 2008 they played Candy Crush back in 2014.
2014. When was it? 2013. Regardless, yeah.
Anyways, so I think it's a good rule.
Well, you also have the flip side where I'm standing there, not on my phone. I'm waiting at at a pedestrian crosswalk. It's not an intersection, and the car's coming, and they make a full stop. They're not even close to me. They make a full stop to let me cross the street. Why don't they just go through? It's faster that way. Like, they're so afraid to hit pedestrians. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're so afraid to hit pedestrians because pedestrians are erratic. They're chaotic.
They are. But I'm standing there, very sane looking, and they have to make a full stop, even though it's faster for them to just go through. For everyone.
Yeah, for both of you. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
Because now I have to make an effort to get across the street, and now I'm conscious that you're sitting there waiting for me, even though you're in the faster mode of transportation.
Yeah, and somebody else could be coming across
There's someone else
the other
across,
side.
or even behind them, and they're honking like, "What are you doing?" It's a whole. That's where we need,
I think it's an issue of signage, because a lot of the signage says "stop," and then really small it says "for pedestrians and crosswalk," and then it's very critical that it's pedestrians in the crosswalk. If the pedestrian is not in the crosswalk or making a reasonable motion to begin crossing, if you're stopped, you're not entering the crosswalk.
Sometimes I'll just be standing on the sidewalk, like I'm waiting for Connor to walk down the street because he's slow or whatever, and they stop for me. And I'm like, I'm not even crossing.
Yeah,
like, they will make me cross. One time I had to cross the street so the car would go through, and then I had to walk
back.
But it didn't actually happen. That might have happened one time, right? I had to just go across because they would not let me.
Yeah. I think it's also a signage issue because it says stop and all the driver sees is stop, which is good, but they don't see this thing that says it's not really a stop, it's a yield, and so it's tough.
It's a big debate. So they should change. What you're saying is they should change the signs to yield.
I don't know what the right way to do it.
I think having a yellow triangle that says yield on it instead of a stop sign would be a good blend of maintaining the urgency but also getting across the intended point. I think that would be a good solution. I don't know that it'll happen because we live in a society that prioritizes pedestrians, which is good because pedestrians have less protection. You don't have a big vehicle protecting you from another big vehicle, and if I run into a car, the car's not going to get hurt. I am. So
the car might get hurt.
A little bit.
You might get a little scratch. You might,
a little plastic bumper broken.
Yeah.
True.
A little dent.
And a lot of times that's more important than my arm. But
it is.
That saying, I think it's natural to err on the side of the weaker mode of transportation, which is pedestrians. So when you err on the side of caution, you don't say, "Oh, but this might be bad for the driver." You say, "Oh, what's going to be safest for the pedestrian because they're the most at risk."
And often what I hear is to make the roads safer, you need to make them more dangerous. In that, if it's
you don't want to be able to autopilot.
Well, like if there, like you said, if there's cars on the side of the road, like street parking, the drivers are more aware.
Yeah.
So you can't make everything so safe.
Yeah, you don't want people to be able to phase out and everything be okay so that they don't feel like it's wrong to phase out. It's the same with like speeding tickets and driving and stuff like that. It's like, well, I've been texting on my phone for like 4 years and nothing bad has ever happened to me. Why should I stop? I've never been caught. I've never had consequences, so there's no reason to stop.
Yeah, Connor.
I think a big point to bring up is Buick made a car back in like 2016. I don't know if they still do it, but they made it as part of like a $3,000 tech option where if you hit a pedestrian, the car recognizes it, so it bends the hood up about 10 degrees. So instead of just getting a severe concussion, the person gets like just a slightly severe concussion, which I think is a good touch. Also, a very specific feature for a car, but it's nice to see that they're
thinking.
There's people thinking.
And here's my alternative: you could just not hit the pedestrian.
Or just that would be the cheaper option. First of all,
it's like abstinence, but for driving. If you just don't do it,
just be a pedestrian hitting virgin for your whole life.
Yeah. Ever hit a pedestrian, Connor?
Not yet.
Oh, you're working on it?
Well, I was planning on it, but see, you know the car I drive. It's so small.
It is small.
Like,
the pedestrian would hit you.
Yeah, the pedestrian hit me.
That's true.
Once I get a bigger car, I'll think about it. But for now, I just don't want to risk it.
Well, you can't even drive it, right? Did you get insurance?
I'm off insurance.
When are you getting insurance?
Summer, for basket.
Did you sign up for basket?
No.
Yeah, do that. It's a big fee, so maybe you should ask Chris.
Okay.
It's like $200 or something crazy.
I'll text Chris.
I don't know when the deadline is, but it's soon.
Okay. Are you gonna be able to do it?
No.
Huh? Who am I gonna do it with?
What?
You can do it with.
You're gonna leave
Chris, probably.
You're gonna leave Connor all alone?
He can do it. He's very skilled. I taught him everything
He's passed on the knowledge of the
But-
basket weaving.
I wouldn't say everything he knows because that's embarrassing on my front because he doesn't know that much. I've taught him some things.
Okay. Do you feel like you can do the some things that he's taught you?
You'll have Bill, Jason, and Chris will be here. I think
Okay.
Kavya should be here.
Where are you gonna be?
Somewhere else. We can talk about it later.
Antarctica.
I don't know yet. We'll talk about that. Yeah, Antarctica. Yes. I'll be on a bridge.
Oh, really? A zip
Yeah.
line or an actual bridge?
Oof, there we go again.
There's the debate.
Okay, so bridges.
Mhm.
I thought you had something.
Well, I did have something, but I don't know if I should say it. It's sort of it's a sensitive topic, the whole bridge thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Talk first, think later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
It's better to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission.
that is true. I was thinking. Here's what I want to do.
Oh, I have my thing now.
Okay, there we go.
What do you define as a pedestrian? Are pedestrians people that walk on the sidewalk? Or are they just people that walk across the street, like on the street?
I think that people on the sidewalks are pedestrians.
'Cause
Especially like
this
within
is
that-
also a hotly contested debate.
Yeah, but like that road zone that I mentioned earlier, that kind of encompaasses a lot of how I feel about transportation.
You think the road extends beyond
I
the road?
feel like the road zone should extend a little bit wider.
Okay.
Just because the reason that a lot of these discussions happen is because you're trying to mitigate risk. You're trying to say this bad thing can happen, so we need to try and say when this bad thing happens, everybody involved needs to be safer. And very rarely, or not very rarely, but it is a common occurrence that when things go wrong on the road, what goes wrong extends outside of the road. Whether that's cars pulling off to the side of the road to talk about it, whether it's the cars getting hit being pushed off the side of the road. When things go wrong, it very rarely stays confined to the explicit roadway. And so if all these discussions are occurring under the assumption that we're talking about risk and something has gone wrong, why would you not include the entire region where things go wrong at into the equation? So I would say that pedestrians walking along the side of the road are in fact pedestrians because in the worst case scenario, in the risk that we are constantly trying to mitigate, they're in the area of exposure, they're in the area of influence. And just as much as the cars influence the pedestrian, a person on the side of the road has a lot of influence on the way a car drives. And I think that should be taken into account.
It's a good answer.
There you go.
That made a lot of sense.
What about so it's just near the road, so pedestrian. So if Connor walks down the hallway, he's not a pedestrian.
No.
If Connor walks down like a path, like it's like in the forest, he's walking through the forest.
The multi-use path system.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a multi-use path system, then are there bicycles? Are there? I would say maybe
There bikes are allowed on this path.
Yeah. I would say that he is a pedestrian in that right.
Okay, but if he's walking through a forest, there's no path. Connor's hiking. Is he a pedestrian?
No, he's an explorer.
Oh,
Wow.
okay, yeah.
He's a man with a mission
There we go.
to explore the great unknown
Yeah, so when Connor's running through Piedmont Park.
within Piedmont Park.
Not a
No,
pedestrian.
but there are roads that pass through Piedmont Park, and when you get close, I feel like pedestrian as a term is connotated towards the actual driving transportation situation.
What about if Connor is walking on a driveway?
Is his driveway private property?
Yeah.
He's probably not a pedestrian. He's probably a little boy who needs
Because-
to pick up his football.
That is Connor, yeah. But because if Connor's walking in a parking lot, Connor's at a Target.
Right.
He's a pedestrian now.
Probably so. Or he's an obstacle.
Well, that's what all pedestrians are, aren't they?
That's true.
Am I right?
Am I right?
Bonus points.
No,
Bonus
so now,
points if you hit the
so
wall.
now it needs to be public property, is what you're saying, because the driveway and the parking lot.
Well, I don't know. I just think it's the reasonable amount of like traffic has to be involved. Because the only cars that go in and out of driveways are the people that live
Well,
there.
Connor's having a party. And
Connor's
there's a lot of
having a
these.
party.
It's
he's
a fiesta.
Connor has a big driveway, if you know what I mean. And so he has a lot of cars coming in because Connor's having a fiesta. is seen out. He's walking out to go meet his friend, whoever.
So this is where we come into one of the biggest issues with defining language and defining terms that we use. We tend to want to define terms in black and white distinctions, which means they're defined by location. That's black and white. They're defined by black and white data sets that you can quantify. But then the issue is that all of these definitions, they're exclusively and 100% better defined situationally.
And they change over time.
And they change over time. So like it's hard when you're asking questions and trying to form a definition based on situations, but then the definition you're giving doesn't reflect the situations. It reflects a location, or it reflects something else. So like pedestrian for me is situationally. It's defined not by where the pedestrian is, but it's defined by the other vehicles, the other surroundings around them in that moment in time. So if it's midnight, or if it's a road that's been closed and nobody can drive on it, and you're playing in the middle of it, you're not really a pedestrian because there's no risk of a car coming through.
Well, hopefully.
True. It's not a roadway. It's not an active roadway, and so like that's part of the issue in my mind, is that we define things in the way that we don't discuss them.
Okay, Connor, anything on bridges? Did you have that thing about bridges, or was that?
Well, speaking of bridges, you are a Twitch streamer. What is your favorite thing that you have streamed, and why?
My favorite thing that I have streamed on Twitch. So, see, this is really hard because I've streamed a lot of things on Twitch.
You're a streamer. Yeah.
Yes. Most frequently I stream Super Smash Bros. Tournaments. But when I'm on my own time, I stream me. Okay, this is the best thing I've ever streamed on Twitch. I was in class, and I decided, you know what? I want to stream 3D Space Cadet Pinball. So, while paying attention in class, I was playing 3D Space Cadet Pinball on my computer for the entire world to watch. And so it was a double Twitch stream. Not only were they getting 3D Space Cadet Pinball, they were getting a lovely lesson on civil engineering.
Wow.
So it was a ton of fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of people tuned in for that one.
I got 4 viewers, which is like one of my max viewer count. I'm usually around like 2.
That's good. Wow, you doubled your average, though.
Yeah. My roommate, Zoo Giraffe, and my mom. Those are the 2 I usually get. It's kind of nice knowing.
And your roommate is there while you're doing it?
No.
Okay.
So he's usually in his room. Turns it on while he's studying. But sometimes...
Well, that's what I mean. He's in the... Yeah, he's near you.
Sometimes. Other times he's like in class also. So we're in different classes.
Wow.
And I'm streaming and he's watching my stream in different classes.
And your mom just doesn't work?
No. My parents had the deal, I guess, where my dad was going to work and my mom was going to take care of us. Instead of like trying to mix and balance the two. And then now that I'm out of the house, my mom's doing a lot more working, but it's not something that really needed to happen just because they prepared well to not have to worry about both of them working. It's pretty cool. Worked out.
Is your roommate the roommate I know?
It rhymes with snack.
Yes.
However, most people know him as Zoo Giraffe.
Okay.
It's a well-renowned name in the atmosphere of gaming. He plays Rocket League. He's pretty good. He's on a collegiate team. It's pretty good. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He doesn't play much anymore. He has fallen to the harsh winds of society and taken up Fortnite. It's been a tough time for our relationship.
Wow. Yeah. We gotta work on that.
Yeah. I'm bringing him back to Super Smash Bros. But
we'll talk to him about it then.
I have. It's been a tough time for us.
Have you tried to see someone about it?
Well, no. I like to resolve relationship issues internally, but it's getting close to where it's almost the lost cause, and I think we might need to see a therapist.
Yeah. Well, Connor has helped a few people.
I've helped countless people.
Countless people,
Yeah.
because I don't think you can count any of
I
them.
can't do the counting thing yet, so...
Would you be willing to be an unbiased third party to mediate a discussion between me and my roommate?
Well, I am a little bit biased
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to helping things. I do like to, like, usually with the things that you don't want me to be biased about, I look up things and I'm look up one side, so I can't
very
be biased.
biased. Yes, of
I'm
course.
sure.
It's selective bias in that you choose to be biased.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay.
He's biased about being biased.
Is bias bad?
Well, in this case, probably.
In other cases, I don't think so. I think bias is necessary for change. Because if you're just apathetic or easygoing about everything, then just one random guy who's extremely passionate about something will get everything to go crazy.
It's what drives the decisions of the world. Anyway, that's the show.
That's the show.
Darn.
Yeah, darn is right. Anything else you want to mention before we head out here? You can mention your Twitch stream. Go ahead.
QBear XD.
Okay.
QBear was taken, so I threw the XD on the end. If you want to follow me on Clash Royale, my name is Snook. You probably have a hard time finding that. I don't know if you can follow people on Clash
I
Royale.
don't think so. They may run into you.
Yeah, you might run into me. So if you get walloped, that was probably me. I like to do the little thing where it looks like you're picking your nose.
Well,
I'm one of the only people that does that. But more importantly, no, I didn't have anything. I thought I was going to...
That's it. Connor, where can people find the podcast?
You can find us on iTunes Podcasts, Google Play, Podbean, Twitch, not Twitch, Spotify,
Overcast.
Instagram, Overcast,
YouTube,
MySpace, YouTube, and by
AOL.
MySpace has gone to trash. I just wanted to throw that out there before the podcast ends.
All right, well,
I've said everything I want to say.
That's where we're going to end it. Thanks for